Ladies and gentlemen, this absolutely could not wait for Friday's episode. I reckon we have a reckoning. Darrion Williams, you are a Wolfpacker.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to a special live episode, and it is time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack, in this case, your second listen of each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our live episode is brought to you by, and I wish I made this up, but I can't even make it up if I tried, Monarch Money. Do you need help managing your money? Andrew Slater does not. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. Monarch like the butterfly, money like the money. monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year using code LOCKEDONCollege. What's up, Wolfpack Nation? Darrion Williams is officially a Wolfpacker. This is incredible. I'm already at a loss of words because this is essentially the exact situation we were, in some cases, unprepared for. I was still under the impression that Kansas was going to be the team that landed Darrion Williams. He had literally just visited the Jayhawks merely days ago after taking his name out of the NBA draft process. Boom! Out of left field walks an American gangster. Will Wade has landed Texas Tech star forward Darrion Williams. Kenton, I think the reckoning just might be officially on.
Oh, man. So interesting how this works out, because I was told that NC State had one of the worst portal classes there was, and of all the new coaches, there was,
Can we get a life check on Grant Hughes, please?
I was told that Will Wade, he was a guy that couldn't play by the rules, couldn't get it done, all that good stuff. Well, seems to me that players are believing in the vision, aren't they? Players sure are saying, I'd like to see what that reckoning is hitting for. I'd like to get in on that reckoning action. And I'll tell you what, Darrion Williams gives you a 3-level scorer who is ready right away to be the guy. He's ready right away to be your showstopper. He's ready right now to be the guy that you're like, hey, we need to roll the ball out and get a bucket. And he's like, all right, cool. Give it to me. Everybody, clear out. We'll figure it out. This is what I was talking about in terms of Will Wade had already put together an excellent roster before the addition of a Darrion Williams or a PJ Haggerty. But, I sit here today and I just think to myself, life like this sure is sweet. Oh, man. It must be so unfortunate to not like your head coach. Oh, who would have such misfortune in the triangle to not like their head coach? It's very unfortunate because we love our guy. Ain't coached the game yet, and we love our guy. He's getting the results. Players that we were not even connected to, players that we were allegedly out of the running for, all of a sudden we see them in Wolfpack Letterman jackets. All of a sudden, we see him with Will Wade. All of a sudden, I get these calls from wonderful restaurants in Raleigh. I'm a big guy. I ain't getting 300-plus pounds for no reason. All these wonderful restaurants I already have great relationships with are calling me not to discuss deals, but calling me to say, hey, Will Wade's coming through on day X, Y, and Z. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some players with him. It's a very interesting time to be a member of Wolfpack Nation, and what a time to be a member.
This announcement came in the best possible fashion because something that has been happening following the Will Wade recruitment offseason here is essentially whenever you think you got him boxed in, whenever you think he's about to zig, you already know he's going to zag. And we've talked about this week, we've heard some murmurs about the possibility of hashtag why not both Darrion Williams and PJ Haggerty, but it just never felt that feasible. It felt like a very large mountain of NIL that they were going to have to climb. And whether that's been climbed or still climbing, we've heard Will Wade several different times saying how often he's on the phone with donors seemingly each and every day, and spreading out his spider web as far as he can possibly reach, putting together the best roster he can in year one. And so many of us to basically anticipate Darrion Williams to end up in Kansas, you're like, well, all right, well, if Kansas is going to get him, then that probably makes us feel really good about PJ Haggerty and maybe a couple other players here in the next week or so. Boom. Darrion Williams committed to NC State. Texas Tech is shook over this. I can only imagine how shook Kansas is over this. For Kansas to be that locked in on a guy that they need to have. And Will Wade said, oh, you feel good about that? You feel good? Did you know that Darrion Williams has actually already come on a visit that was under wraps a couple weeks ago? Bet you didn't know that. Boom. You want to talk about a reckoning? Actually, let's talk about gravity, because that's something we've already talked about this week. When I told y'all the gravity of the Will Wade experience at NC State could be very real, this is what I was talking about. Think about this. NC State just beat out Kansas, like Kansas Jayhawks, the Kansas Jayhawks that just won a national title 3 years ago, 2022. 3 years ago, they won a national title. Will Wade has been here for has he been here for 2 months? 2 months. He just beat out Kansas, a blue blood, for one of the top players in the transfer portal. Think about that. That is the reality you're living in now with Will Wade as your head coach at NC State. That is a program with gravity. That is going to turn heads across the country. And the best part about this, Kenton, what did Marcus Peters say that one time? I think
we ain't done yet.
I think we ain't done yet. This is a monstrous grab, a monstrous steal off of the hands of the Kansas Jayhawks. That alone, like beating Kansas in that fashion, seemingly out of left field, there is no limit to what Will Wade can accomplish here in Raleigh. This right here, proof in the pudding.
Well, I've talked to many people throughout this week. Many people asking, hey, what's going on? Who's withdrawn? Who's not? And all that good stuff. And is there a chance that we don't land either? Anybody who's talked to me about this has specifically heard from me, we have a better chance of landing both than neither. Are you not entertained, Wolfpack Nation? Are you not entertained? This is the type of stuff we live for. And also, Grayson, you said he took a player from a blue blood. That's so interesting, because I was told by Andy Patton and Isaac Shade that there was a good chance. How long does Will Wade last in Raleigh? Having to battle those blue bloods for the best player. It's so fascinating, And I'm not going to say who, but I believe we got a call from those Locked On college basketball guys today saying, hey, we'd love you to go. So I just think it's interesting that 1 minute it's how long is Will Wade going to be there? Next minute it's we need you all to come on the show because of how great that is. Hey, listen, I'm telling you this right now. This is what I want for all of NC State's teams. This is what is feasible for all of NC State's teams. That is just the reality of this thing. I am telling you, you're talking about one of the best cities to live in America. You're talking about one of the fastest growing cities in America. You're talking about a research-run university. So when you talk about the education part of it, there is nothing like it. You know how Wolfpack Nation gets down. I've said this a million times, and I'll say it a million more before I hit the grave. Not the biggest fan base, but I'll be damned if you tell me there's a more passionate fan base. I'll be damned if you don't tell me. I was at the Walk of Champions when we were like 3-8 or something like that. My true freshman year when I told my kids, and I saw that it was still lined with people high-fiving, saying, hey, we believe in you guys. Go out there and win for a 3-win team. I am telling you, this is what the standard should be. Will Wade is resetting the standard, and I'm loving to see it because I'm going to tell you, if you land a Haggerty on top of this, at that point in time, your expectation being a top 4 team in the ACC and making the tournament, it's blown out the water at that point. You are not in the same stratosphere. So, again, this right here, this This is what we should expect. Will Wade beating out Blue Bloods, Will Wade bringing the pack back, and Will Wade being here for quite some time, because it's clear he has no problem battling the Blue Bloods. And guess what? Kevin Holland Company ain't going to have no problem doling out the chips to Will if he wins on the court like he's doing in the living room right now.
Another sentiment that we talked about, kind of furthering Kenton's point here, the national heads saying, well, yeah, that's a great get for NC State. Will Wade's a great coach, great recruiter, but it's only a matter of time before the SEC comes knocking. And to that, I responded with, well, if Will Wade can get the talent he wants, if Will Wade can have the success that he's striving to achieve, if he has the support of the fan base, the support of the school, why leave? If you can get all the top talent that you're looking for at any other stop, if you can get them to Raleigh, what makes somewhere else better than NC State? Watch what happens if he succeeds in year one. Watch what happens to the recruiting bump you'll see after year one. They still got to get it done on the court, but what Kenton's talking about, these guys, a Darrion Williams, a Trey Holloman, a Terrence Arsenault, a Paul Mbia, they're committing to the vision. They have seen nothing of Will Wade at NC State yet. He has accomplished nothing. They haven't had a practice yet, not one singular practice, but they believe in what he's building in Raleigh. They believe what this school has to offer, what this fan base has to offer, what Wolfpack Nation in totality has to offer. And if you succeed on the back half of that, reckoning. You'll be a reckoning to be reckoned with. Darrion Williams is a massive piece to this year one roster and a massive piece to where this program can go in the immediate future under Will Wade. We obviously have much more to talk about. What the immediate impact Darrion Williams will bring to the table is. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors, and our live sponsor is Monarch Money. Let me pull up my read. Do you ever check your bank account and wonder, where the heck did all my money go? I can tell you who's not asking that question right now. They go by the names of Frank Williams Wade, Andrew Slater, and Patrick Stacey. They know where their money's at. They've been hiding it under the mattress. So if you are looking for where your money went between dining out, shopping online, and sometimes entertainment, so it's easy to lose track. But that's where Monarch Money comes into play. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in just one place, so you can stop managing your money and start building your wealth. Managing your money with your partner is also now smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all of the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. That's Monarch like the butterfly, money like the money, monarchmoney.com using code LOCKEDONCollege. That's 50% off of your first year only at Monarch Money. All right, middle portion of our live show here on Thursday evening. First, I want to thank y'all for joining us. Probably should have said that already, but there's a lot going on right now. We have this commitment to talk about. I know that NC State has already begun in Durham, top second 0-0. I have my eyeballs on that. We got to talk about what Darrion Williams means to this roster in the immediate future. We'll also talk about PJ Haggerty. I know people are instantly clamoring to what this means, or what this now means in the next couple weeks or so. So we'll start here with Darrion Williams. This is a player with all-American potential. He was an all Big 12 first-team player with the Texas Tech Red Raiders this past year. He averaged 15 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, 3.6 assists on 43.9% shooting. In my tweet, the breaking news tweet, his numbers were even better just in March Madness alone. So in crunch time, in winning time, he was one of the best players on the floor at all times for Texas Tech. He averaged over 21 points a game in the dance, and that is a player with valuable experience that you cannot replicate anywhere else. Texas Tech has been a mainstay in March Madness here for quite some time now, and Darrion Williams has been one of the most impressive players off of Texas Tech in recent memory. Oddly enough, Darrion Williams actually played. Actually, no, he was with Nevada. Scratch that. No, that's right. Darrion Williams was on Texas Tech when Kevin Keatts beat them now 2 years ago. So we've actually already seen him once before you even realized that you were watching him. Kenton, what does Darrion Williams do to this roster immediately?
We talk about the scoring. We talk about all that good stuff. We talk about a guy that for his career is shooting mid to high 30% from the three, high 30s in terms of percent from the three. You talk about all that. You talk about his ability to finish around the rim. He is an all-around player. That is the part that gets lost in the sauce about him and his scoring. This is a forward that averages nearly 4 assists a game. This is a forward that's shooting 80% from the free throw line. Do y'all know how badly we could have used an 80% shooter from the free throw line last year? Grayson and I were begging and pleading, somebody please knock down the damn free throw. And now we have a guy that averages nearly 16 a game, shoots 40% from the field, shoots, again, career-wise, upper 30s in terms of shooting from deep. Last year, we were begging, can somebody please do some spacing besides Dontrez Styles? Anybody not named Styles, hit a three, please. We're begging. We've got it. We've got it in space. We've got multiple guys that can space the floor out, which creates a lane for a guy like him that, again, he can make the shot from deep, but guess what happens if you close out too hard? Darrion Williams is going to put it on the floor. And when he puts it on the floor, he's going to the rim. And, oh, yeah, he's a great finisher, but don't let Paul Embiid be in that dunker spot and he draws in the big, because this is a guy who can make that lob pass that you want to see. Darrion Williams is your quintessential all-around player. Like Grayson said, all-American type of guy. And I would argue, if NC State has a great year next year, I'd be surprised if either he or Haggerty were not in Naismith territory.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be surprising at all. Like the well-roundedness in Darrion Williams is pretty rare for a player. And people have been clamoring for bigs. Are we getting more bigs in the front court because Paul Embiid can't do it himself? Darrion Williams is not exactly a big because he's only like 6'6". I know there's some exaggerated heights kind of floating out on the internet. He's about 6'6", so he's like a bigger guard-ish. But the physicality and the quickness he can play with, he can play in the front court, he can play in the back court, he can do virtually anything, and that's what makes him so dangerous of a player. To Kenton's point, he can knock down the outside shot, or he can fake you and take you to the dribble, or take you on the dribble and take you all the way to the rack. What he brings on the glass, the rebounding aspect of his game as well. He's able to find the open man, a pretty decent assist rate for a guy his size and the team he was playing on as well. You can't say enough about how dynamic of a player Darrion Williams can be and more than likely will be under Will Wade. And Will Wade talking about needing a proven scorer, this is that. And we might be still in the running for another one, but this is absolutely that. And you're looking as of, we'll go as of right now without any further developments. You're looking at a potential starting five of Trey Holloman. You could do Allen Breed at the 2. You could do Paul McNeil at the 2. A lot of different options. You can even do Quadir Copeland at the 2, even though he's 6'6". At the 3, you're probably looking at Terrence Arsenault. Darrion Williams slots in almost perfectly there at the 4. Paul Mbia, Congo Paul, stands at 6'11" at the 5. That alone is dangerous. That roster, that starting 5 alone can compete for the ACC. If you sprinkle in a man by the name of PJ Haggerty in maybe under a week's time, maybe we'll cross that bridge when we get there. You can't say enough about what Darrion Williams does to this team instantly. Instantly raises both the ceiling and the floor of this program in year one.
That's a biblical level of greed, asking for PJ Haggerty.
It is.
Too.
It is.
That's that type of gluttony that would down the whole grave case. For those of you who are familiar, there's a place called White Castle in the north. Nah, we'll get into it later. Long story short, this here, but you know what? Will Wade is that type of glutton. He's a glutton for talent. He is.
Right.
He is. He's the type of guy that wants both because he's the type of guy that lands both. I am telling you right now, from the moment that this coaching search started, and I got information on where this coaching search was headed, I was excited about Will Wade. I'm not going to lie to you, Grayson. This exceeds my wildest expectations for year one. I said, oh, yeah, he's going to get some guys. He's going to get a pretty good class. You know, he's going to get a couple guys that I'm excited about. This is this moment right here for NC State fans, we've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this. This has been what we have desired for so long. This has been something that, no more bridesmaid talk. No more bridesmaid. It's finally our turn in the sun. And Will Wade is the one bravely leading us out there. I am telling you something right now. We have seen Will Wade overperform with less talent plenty of times. We have seen him beat a Clemson team that many people said, oh, they're a sneaky good team. They're a secret Final Four team. We have seen him do that in real time. Just think about what he's going to do with all this talent. Think about what he's going to do with all it. Let me tell you something. This Will Wade, you a bad man and you know it. And I mean Michael Jackson bad, not normal bad.
To see Andrew Slater online, he had all the memes loaded up and ready to go, saying scared money don't make no money. And so when you're talking about money and where NC State now currently stands, everyone wants to know, okay, you get Darrion Williams. Maybe we weren't all expecting that to happen. So what does that mean for the guy that we are expecting to land in PJ Haggerty? I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to truly find out, kind of sift through the dark web and see what this may or may not mean. But what I will tell you, like I said yesterday, don't think that anything is out of reach for Will Wade. Don't think that any recruit is a step too far. Any amount of money in NIL, even if you're close, don't think it's not too much in which Will Wade can find a way to make that happen. And we lost Kenton. I'll say this too. When you're looking at the buzz that a recruitment win like this one does for your program, perhaps if you're Will Wade and you're looking at the fan base saying, okay, y'all been waiting for the big fish. I just reeled one in. If you want to help go get another one, we can take this thing to another level. I got more in the bag. If y'all want to get funky, we can get funky. If you want to get crazy, I have the potential ability to make this thing crazy. Kenton, I'm talking about how Will Wade can market this landing to potentially rile up the fan base, maybe stoke up some more NIL, and you can go out and reach a PJ Haggerty. Because to Kenton's point, this is the type of get in the portal. We've waited forever to see a recruitment like this. Darrion Williams is a 5-star commitment. He is. That's a 5-star commitment out of the transfer portal you just landed. In the top 10 of all the portal guys, there's varying levels, but Darrion Williams is a top 10 portal player overall. And if you're looking at Haggerty, he's been in like the top 1 to top 2 range. So you could land 2 of the top 10 in one off season before you've played a game, before you've held one practice at NC State. You're reeling in potentially one of the biggest transfer portal classes of the offseason. There is no bridge too far for Will Wade and Andrew Slater, Patrick Stacey, and the rest of this staff. When we talked about they were coming to NC State to change the landscape of college basketball, this is what it looks like. When you get a player like Darrion Williams and the country takes notice, this is what it looks like. This is how you build a program and, most importantly, a reckoning.
This is a moment where we should look at this as wins for basketball, but wins for all of NC State, because I'm telling you all, this is what I know is possible. This is what I know is possible. The time I spent covering high school football, I've had the ability to build certain relationships with certain coaches in the Central North Carolina area. I am telling you right now, it is no coincidence that Will Wade has come in and done all this so quickly. It is no coincidence. I know basketball is slightly different from football, but there is nothing that is stopping us from doing this in every sport. There is nothing stopping us. And like I've talked about a billion times on here, just win. Just win. If Will Wade goes on to win, he's in what is literally called the hoop state. You think he's going to have problems landing top talent? This offseason. And also, I too am glad I don't have to eat Arby's. I'm very excited about that. I know y'all know I'm a man of my word. If we didn't land either, I would have done it on air. But thank God. We didn't want to put Granny back in the cage. She's getting real tired of that bit. But in all seriousness, this is a moment where we need to sit back and say, hey, how good can it get? How good can Will Wade truly make this team in this program if we're talking about off-season 1, barely 2 months in the program, and his show cause isn't even lifted yet? It's not even lifted. And this is what we're doing. I'm telling you right now, he is not done. Slater is not done. And this is just year 1. And I'm going to leave it right there.
Yeah, Wolfpacker here on the screen. Boo cooked more than we could have possibly imagined. Thank you, Boo Corrigan. We love you, Boo Corrigan. Look at what you've done for us, Boo Corrigan. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is a great day to be a fan of the NC State Wolfpack. It's times like these that we have waited decades to feel what this feels like. We have waited decades to be the school that has the big fish landing. Decades to have the school to say, oh my God, are we one player away from potentially competing on a national level? Because that's real. That's real. If NC State lands PJ Haggerty to couple up now with Darrion Williams, you take this thing a step above the ACC. And that's not putting the cart above the horse, in front of the horse, above the horse. Who does that? In front of the horse. You can compete on a national level. We're talking Final Four capabilities with a roster with PJ Haggerty on it as well. This is Will Wade's world, and we are just simply living in it. We're going to have much more to talk about this also on Friday's show. I see baseball is now down 1-0 in the bottom of the second. I got to get over to watch some of that. So that will do us. That will do it for us here on a Thursday live show. I encourage all of y'all that are on here now, if you're watching me, stop watching me. Go watch baseball. They need each and every one of us to will them to victory. But seriously, thank y'all for joining us here on Thursday evening. Big time commitment. Darrion Williams is now officially a Wolfpacker. The reckoning, it's underway. The reckoning is starting to reckon, I do believe. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button. Drop your comments in the comment section. Mash that subscribe button if you have not already. We'll catch you right back here tomorrow on Friday for more. And until then, go Pack.
All right.